Hey everyone, it's Lisa here in Tucson, Arizona, and today I wanted to share a really unconventional but surprisingly effective remedy with you. If you are dealing with two totally separate issues, it is equally good for both. The first issue would be waking up regularly between, say, 1 to 3 or 4 a.m. That is classic for people who have an overburdened liver, and I feel like nowadays most people's livers are overburdened between all the processed foods, all the environmental toxins that are hard to get away from, like heavy metals. We all are dealing with a lot for our livers to handle. And also there's a lot of mast cell activation syndrome, or MCAS, which involves having really high histamine levels. And it turns out right around that 1 to 3 a.m. window is when the body is dumping a bunch of histamine to the liver, and that can wake you up to where you feel like wired but tired. Or maybe, let's say, what often would happen for me is waking up to pee sometime between 1 to 3 a.m. and then getting back in bed and feeling unable to go back to sleep, just tossing and turning maybe for hours. And then the other totally unrelated issue is plantar fasciitis, or bottom of the foot pain. And for people over 40, this is really common. And I know as I've gotten closer to 50, I'm almost 50 now, the last several years, I've been dealing with some plantar fasciitis issues, especially on my left foot. Felt like right in the center of the arch, like the 3 tendons going down the middle, felt like spaghetti that was partially cooked but clumped together. So I could feel individual strands, but they're totally glued together. I would do a bunch of self-massage. I would go have someone else do deep tissue massage. And the most relief I would get would be like one day, and then it would all come back again. I felt like it was hard to roll through my foot with walking. My foot kind of wanted to just step like a platform instead of rolling through. And since I've been using these foot pads, that problem has completely gone away. So how interesting, right? But you think about the way that the body holds toxins. Sometimes they're held in the bones, they're held in organs, they're held in fat, and they're also held in fascia, or connective tissue. And the bottoms of our feet are very rich in fascia. It's the fascia that gets inflamed and irritated, and that's what creates the myofascial pain of plantar fasciitis. The fasciitis means inflamed fascia. So these are what I'm talking about, these foot pads. I learned about these through Detox Nation, which is an amazing online school that has all these programs to help people recover from chronic illness. These are the gold standard foot pads that have a lot of premium ingredients. So they cost about $7 a pair. So this package of 10, which is 5 pairs, will run you about $35. Not terrible if you just want to try them for 5 days, but if you want to be using these every night for a few months, that gets kind of expensive. So I found a cheaper version on Amazon. This is 10 times as many, so it's 100 individuals or 50 pairs. And this one runs about $21, $22. So it is really affordable to do, say, every night for a month or two, just to see like how much relief can you get. And when you take them off, it's very interesting. So they are black, kind of greenish black on the inside. That's partially, they contain things like black tourmaline crystal, which is known to absorb negative energy. They also contain charcoal, like bamboo charcoal, which of course is black and has kind of a hickory smoke sort of smell. So you're not gonna smell stinky foot smell, you're gonna smell like, oh, it smells like hickory smoke. And that's totally normal with these foot pads. I even tried taking one and just running it under the tap water just to see, are they black? And yes, they're just as black from tap water as they are from foot sweat. So don't feel like you're gross if your foot pads are black when you take them off. That is totally normal. But I would really just invite you to try these. I've also found they are so helpful, not only wearing like for 8 hours during sleep, but I even put them on after all the prep before doing an enema. And then during the enema process, I like to do coffee enema in 2 rounds because it's easier to hold than one big round. And then I'll do a 3rd round that is like a chlorella and magnesium enema to kind of put back minerals and nutrients that the body may lose, purging a bunch. And then I follow that with a full body lymphatic drainage routine, or you could do dry brushing. And I found that all those things make my feet sweat more. Because again, when we're opening the detox pathways of the body, it encourages release, and part of that release is purging toxins through sweat. So the bottoms of the feet do give off quite a bit of sweat when you're detoxing, so why not capture it and help pull out heavy metals and other nasty toxins like that that have just been stuck in your tissues. You know, when you think about the stabbing, shooting pain that can be caused by plantar fasciitis, it's quite interesting to imagine, like, well, what if there's little tiny bits of heavy metals in the fascia of the bottoms of your feet, that alone is like a pokey, uncomfortable feeling. I've just been amazed that the foot pain is completely gone after using these regularly. I don't even remember if it was like right after the first time I used it or if it took several nights in a row, but I just have been in amazement that the 1 to 3 a.m. insomnia is gone and the chronic foot pain is gone since I've been using these pads. And one more reason to use them, if you are someone like me who has a complicated health history that involves environmental illness like heavy metal poisoning. So many of us have been exposed to high levels of heavy metals, also mycotoxin illness from mold. Well over 50%, more like 70 to 90% of all buildings have some level of water damage, which creates mold, which off-gasses very toxic chemicals that disrupt organ function. It messes up your liver, so it makes it harder to detox. It can even congest the lymphatic system. Things like Lyme disease, which is so common nowadays with climate change, as ticks have spread into just about every area. They're no longer just in a couple of regions. The season's longer, the winters are less cold, so it's way easier to get a tick bite. And when you get a tick bite, you're getting like 10 to 15 different chronic health problems from one tick bite. So all that stuff impacts your body's ability to deal with toxins. So obviously wearing foot pads is not going to be the one and only thing you do, but as part of a comprehensive holistic program, it can be so helpful to add in the foot pads just to kind of help your body along, pulling extra toxins out so your liver is not so overwhelmed. So I would love to hear from you if you have ever used these before, or if you go out and buy them because of my recommendation. I would love to hear your experience. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know how it worked for you. And I hope this helps move the needle on your journey to continuing and improved health.